front here. Same fencing is going along the front here. So that fencing, this kind of part of the ground will be all fenced around that perimeter. Fencing on here, an exit into a patio area. This will be for Matchday committee members and other board directors. This is where they'll come.
Morning everyone, we're at Largers Lane, having a quick look around, just trying to keep up. The pitch. Just walking along the Quinton end of the ground. There's a small group of people with us. Hello.
They look massive now though.
It does.
It's all open down there.
Live on Channel 4, Brian, please do not.
Oh, well.
Then we've got the sockets are in for the goals. So we'll have the European box nets. The posts just down there are for the back of the nets. So this end will be referred to as the Quinton Memorial end. On this back wall here, we will have past significant contributors to the club will be on this back wall, will be remembered on this back wall. So this will be for past contributors that are no longer with us. So that's what this end will be referred to as. And when we get down there, I'll tell you about that end. But
Say hello everybody.
Hello.
this is actually the finished. This is how the rest of the ground will look come Thursday next week. Finished effect is the twin bar fencing. This will be the storage goal compound. That's temporary offices at the moment. Temporary site offices and security lives in there.
Patrols every hour.
Patrols every hour, yeah. This is where the goals will go. Because obviously in the week this will be hired out. Goals will come in here. At the weekends, this is where it will be stored away. All our goals for match days.
Just having a look around.
Get over.
No, do you know this is absolutely no good for your house? So many people have asked me because it has to have infill. Your house, your 3G, so the artificial you'd have in your garden would be about 10 mil. That's 60 mil.
Oh,
So you'd have to have sand and rubber balls fed into it to make it any good, or it would just fall over.
I was going to do yours.
Yeah, so basically this carpet, the way it works is simply so into the bottom here, it's filled up with around 25 mil of sand, and then on top of that you have about another 25 mil of rubber infill. Then you have about 10 mil sitting out. That's what gives it its. That's what makes it sit up. So without that, it would just
Lie down.
just lie down. Well, this actually usually it sits up pretty well already, you know. So once it has the infill in it, it will sit up even better. Believe it or not, with these lines, they cut these in so they streamline it and then cut each individual line into the pitch. So it's not doesn't come with as you would think.
You think the paint
But they cut them in.
kind of permanent. So it lasts forever.
That lasts forever. The life
So
the life expectancy of the carpet. They're manufactured. They get manufactured on the end of the rolls, so they're manufactured in exactly the same way. But I saw how they do it. So it's basically lots of spindles, and then the last spindle on the end is just doing white. And when it comes, they roll it out, they cut the white off.
You should have a little kick around.
Kane, are you saying you're making the lining machine redundant?
The lining machine is redundant, yeah. So Louis is redundant.
news.
Louis is redundant. Louis, Chris, Jude, they're all sacked. They're all gone.
So there's more jobs for them to do.
Actually, no, they've been promoted. They're now be sweeping and lift loading. So, Saltex. The reason we face that logo that way is for typically when the photos are taken, they're taken from across there, so the logo will sit in the photo better. So Saltex is the manufacturer of the carpet. They're a Finnish company. we met and spoke to a lot of manufacturers, but Saltex, this carpet, it has a PVC back. It's the highest spec back carpet that we could attain and get, and that's why we ultimately went with these guys. The life expectancy on this type of carpet is this is a Rolls Royce of 3G really, and Saltex are really good. Disappointed if this carpet didn't keep achieving its FIFA star for the next 5 to 7 playing seasons. The carpets of this nature have lasted for 10 to 14 years. I think Bayern Munich have got one. You know, so as long as we maintain it well, and as long as we don't overplay it, so as long as we stick within our playing hours, we should be fine for many years. So every year we have to have a FIFA inspection to prove. That's why we've gone for a tarmac subbase. The tarmac subbase will help with the life expectancy of this carpet. And it comes, when we change this carpet, it's a simple case of we will roll it up and we'll roll a new one down. That's why we've spent more money on the subbase. Some people go for what's called a dynamic base, which is loose stone. So when you roll it up, you then have to do a whole load of work on the subbase before you can roll a new one down. So we've invested an extra £80,000 under the ground to ensure that when we go to do our work in the future, that cost is cheaper. But we will sink away every year £26,000 towards replacing this carpet. So every 4 to 5 years we will have enough money, if we need to replace it. So we sink that away from the rentals. So that's, I'm not sure, I think we have to demonstrate that to the FA. I'm sure we have to prove to the FA that we're sinking money away for the future of this pitch. But again, if you look at it, we were spending, you guys will know, we were spending a lot of money on every year, £10,000 on soil, seeding, verti-draining. So actually to the club, it's not a new expense, it's just, and the other thing is, we used to invest 10, 15 hours a week in volunteer hours to try and keep the bobble alive, you know.
The bobbles where we knew they were.
So, you know.
And how do you maintain it?
It's a very simple piece of kit actually. It's a rubber mat. It's a rubber mat you drag. You know, like what you get at the swimming stadium, like these little staggered rubber mats. You drag that behind a tractor, and then an even more ingenious invention. It's a big brush. You drag that. It's literally, you just have to keep moving the infill around, and then every again, depending on your playing hours, you have to decompact it. We don't do that. They go in and they decompact and they clean. So they decompact the sand and they clean the rubber ball. But they'll do that annually, or dependent upon our playing hours. So that might. But around about every year we'll have a heavy maintenance on this.
Is it totally flat now? The largest lane slope.
Completely.
No
They
more.
have a straight edge and it's flat to within 10 mil. Within 10 mil across this pitch. So there will. And again, that comes back to your FIFA accreditation. So that the league will let us play on an artificial surface as long as we achieve our FIFA status.
Right.
And you achieve your FIFA status by how flat it is, how far the ball rolls. So I did make a bold claim over a year ago that the bobble was gone because we had it rolled, but I'll make an even bolder one now. It has gone forever.
I'm just thinking out, if I remember rightly, there are no other FIFA pitches in Bracknell, FIFA approved pitches.
No.
According to the County FA website, which I looked on a while.
In the county, is there?
There's about 7, but
With
none
the stadium
of them.
next to it.
Maybe there's definitely 7 in the county.
To go to Liz Pill for a quote on that. Liz Pill from the County FA. Ask her.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
sure
there's definitely some in the county, but I don't think there's any in the town. So this will be, I would think, the only one.
Has the bobble been framed, or will it be put in the bar?
We've
That's what we all want to know.
Actually, at the moment, we'll go down there. I'll show you where the bobble is, man. Velocity underneath that. The Velocity are the company that actually are our main contractor. So Velocity are responsible for this side of the buildings, all the groundwork on this side. So they're the company we engaged to do it. So then you've got the technical areas. The space age dugouts come in on Wednesday. It's a shame they're not here today, but the space age dugouts, for anyone that's seen them, they're very space aged, is all I can say. They look like no other dugout in non-league football that I've seen so far.
They're very close together.
Where are they going to be placed?
Well, the dugout, no, because the dugout sits up this.
Okay.
I think there's about 2 metres actually. 2 metres here dugout's going to be pushed as far up there as possible, as physically can fit. So, the thing is with this, every square metre, so for instance, if you want to bring the dugouts apart, every square metre of engineering that goes into doing that is expense. So, you know, it's just to say, oh, I'm going to push the dugouts up that way a little bit more, that could be a few more £1,000 in groundworks.
A lot of pitches have a sort of cane.
Yeah. Okay, so again, this is for more for Guffer. We installed this specifically for Guffer, the bottle man, and physio. He now can fill up his bottles
Here.
here.
Excellent.
Very nice.
So
Assume that's only available to the home team.
what's that?
got a rather horrible one
Yes,
for the opposition.
Depends if we like the opposition.
If we like the opposition, we'll share it. If not, they can fill them up over there.
How about drainage? Because normally pitches sort of have
The
a
canvas.
dome.
So you can either have a canvas. So you can either have a camber which will drain to the external.
Yeah.
Bracknell Council wanted us to drain this pitch in quarters, so running from left to right in 4 sections. You can see. Okay, so there is still a slight fall on this pitch. That's for drainage purposes. So there's a 1 in 100 fall on this pitch. Historically, there was a 2 in 100 fall, so you physically could see it. I mean, you can take markers. You can see if you go and stand in front of the stand, the bricks gets progressively bigger, but it's nowhere near as severe as before. So the water drains in each quarter. It drains into a drain running left to right. On the back of the drain is a plastic sheet that captures, so the water drains into that section, hits the sheet, pushes down into the drain, goes over there, and when we get over there, I'll show you the chambers. So you've got 4 drains running across this pitch. However, there's also, I mean, we've seen some really big drain falls since they put them in. The ground takes a lot now because we've put a lot of stone, type 2 stone under there. And that will take a lot of the moisture anyway.
So the moisture can actually go through. It doesn't get stuck in the tarmac or anything. No.
It's a permeable pavement.
Okay.
So it's permeable. So,
okay.
So if you come out here yesterday when it was raining, this again, Bracknell Forest, again, part of planning condition.
Yeah.
So this is not just, this is in the planning approval, you must have permeable pathways, permeable pitch. Everything's been designed to take water. You could literally, pour a bucket out there and it would disappear. It just goes. And that's all part of the planning process. Now over here, and when we get around there, I'll show you the chambers. And we also have to regulate how water leaves the site.
Yeah, I was going to say. Last thing those houses.
So it's really quite an impressive area. There's an awful lot of space that's been created as well. Hang on, just floodlights.
The lights. So the lights, as you can see here, they have in here a piece of kit goes in there, and it jacks over. So these lights lie down. Actually, this one, so it lies that way. It goes that way, so we don't have to muck around with any climbing them or anything like that. They lay down.
Where does that one lay this way?
So that lays that way, that lays this way. We've gone for 8 masts. This was a bit of a personal thing actually. Me and Chris, they chose this lighting system for a simple reason. We were fed up. We go to a lot of grounds where they have dark spots in the middle. It's very dark out there. These lights will create a really good lux out in the middle. You know, the lighting out in that pitch will be perfect for midweek games. Also on the back of these lights, we don't have any backspill. So our neighbours, again, this is all part of planning. On the back of the lights there's shields, so the light is pushed forwards. It will be fairly dark in these walkways. They don't throw, even to that degree, they don't throw the light here. They are literally directional. They go, the light goes where you need them. So this is one of our biggest expenses. You know, in isolation, the lighting element of this job was a big chunk of the overall budget. But I think they're really worth it.
Okay, Callum Whitty's just asked, I know you've already mentioned this to us, he said, is the top stand going to be named after Jack Quinton again?
Yes, top end.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, it is absolutely. It's going to be named after him. Who's more popular on the quiz at the moment? His dad or him? I think it's his dad.
I think it's his dad at the moment,
I think
yes.
it's his dad. Okay. Probably want to make a note of that as well.
I hope that answers the question. Anybody else got any questions, please let us know. Try and answer them. So we're just going down to the bottom end. Kane's going to explain to us about the naming of the bottom end of the ground as well. So, slightly uncompleted pathway just here.
At this end of the ground, we will have a bull stop net that runs right from this end right across that back end. It wasn't thought about in the design stages. We're going to retrofit a bull stop net on this side running that way as well. Subject to end will now be named the Bradley end in memory of the Bradleys have pretty much built the buildings that were here and that have been Brian built them buildings over there. When we get around there, I'll talk to you about what they've done. But so that's what this end of the ground's going to be named. Just make whatever.
So just oh, watch out for the hole. Just going to see the amount of land that's been made available at the end as well. So there you go.
Okay, so a few people have asked out how we're paying for this. Fortunately, this piece of scrubland has been sold to fund the total redevelopment of the ground. So we've got a RSJ retained back wall here, stepping down into another retained area there. So that's holding this end of the pitch up. The work on there will start in we actually start to dig that site in 2 weeks' time. So that will be reduced in level and all the housing plots will be cut into it. That's our responsibility, and then we hand it to the builder. So our responsibility is to get that site ready for the developer. And that, yeah, so we're 2 weeks away from there. What's going there is there's going to be 2 houses in the middle, 4 houses over there, and flats on the corner here. And like I said, that has paid for the total redevelopment of the ground. We will have some funds left over at the end to invest in our educational academy and the development of the club and development of other projects that we've got going on. So,
just having a look up the ground. It's very green, no mud, not a piece of sand in sight. It's all looking very impressive. Just see Bracknell Wokingham College in the background there. And any digger fans, got some really meaty pieces of equipment over there as well. As regards to who's thicker, George Short or Joe Grant, we'll do a poll or something. Let the public decide. So we're just walking up the car park side. A lot of this was a big nettled hill.
So onto this area. This is going to be a functional training area. For this area primarily is going to be used by Sean Faulkner to deliver sessions for our parents that drop their kids on a Wednesday evening for training, and on a Thursday evening, so me and Raph will be in there getting fitter. Yeah, so this is ultimately for training for the club's parents and players, a functional training area. So it's more your tyres, your bands, you know. So that's all of this area here will be. And on a match day, it will be a covered area for standing spectators. So, and equally, what this area has been built for is if we get promotions to higher steps, this could take a stand that would enable us to attain them promotions. So a bit of future proofing in this area. So interim training area, long term, could potentially become a stand.
So when you say training area, is that going to be grassed or?
We're not sure. We might put a slightly smaller pole 3G, not 3G artificial here. We might just keep it as a tarmac. It's going to be tarmac.
Right.
Then we have options. We could roll a carpet on it. We could just keep it as tarmac. Probably tarmac, because if we have a big gate one day,
Yeah.
this covered area could be somewhere where people could have a drink after the match. It could be, so we'll probably keep it tarmac, to be fair.
When would you anticipate a cover going on?
The frame will go over this area. Temporary marquee, not a permanent structure, and it will only be here for 28 days. We'll go on. It will go on here for perhaps the Thatcham game, and then it'll be taken down 28 days later.
Do you have an estimated capacity of the ground? Is that something that you
These
need
guys
to...
will know that better than me. I mean, they will know what this ground has held before. I think the biggest 2,000.
Yeah.
This, I think, on our calculations, I think it would. I think we're allowed to have 3,500 in this ground. I'd have to check some small print, but I think that's what the maximum capacity is for this ground. That would be the type of thing that Chris Day would know. He knows stats and facts.
I guess because then you've got fire regulations and stuff and moving people out if there was ever.
Yeah. We now have a license to. This whole site is licensed now. The whole site's licensed rather than just the buildings. So in our license now, it's the whole. It encompasses the whole boundary of our site. So if we wanted to have a function down there, we could have a function down there. If we wanted to have a function here, we could have a function here. It's the whole site.
Is there going to be any covered areas behind the goals at all?
We have applied for planning permission to have a covered area over there on the far side. There won't be there because there never was.
No.
But over on the far side over there, we're looking to have kind of a cantilevered covered section for people that want to stand to the right hand side of that goal. That planning is subject to planning, and I believe Shiva ruled on it last week. It'll be on the planning board, so I'm sure that she said yes last week to it. So that should filter its way through to us in the next week. But yeah, over there.
Just walking up to the bar area. I think the goals will be goal shaped. Big hole at the front, small holes at the back, that sort of thing. So just walking up, this looks like it could be a new stand. So
Can you quickly come over and unlock the building and turn the lights on inside?
Just,
the building, the bottom building, yeah?
have a quick look in here.
Okay, cheers, thanks. Cheers, bye.
Okay. Question, Kane.
Yes.
What's the size of the pitch compared to the old pitch?
The old pitch was 101 metres long, physical plan surface. This pitch is 100 metres long by 64 wide, so the width is exactly the same. The length is a metre shorter. The old pitch was over by 1 metre, so we brought it back into FA guidelines.
Great.
The runoff areas are 2 metres. League, in our level, we're over on the sizings we need to be for the internal pitch runoffs. The external walkways are, again, slightly over regulations on sizing, so we're good. We're good for our ground gradings.
Good.
Ground gradings. Okay, so this stand. This is a stand that is yet to be named, and I think we spoke yesterday about that probably being something for the Football in Bracknell website to decide the ultimate name for this stand. But it won't be Boaty McBoatface or something like that. We will have some control over.
I think we've got some ideas for some
I'm going to leave that
legends
to
that
you
we
guys
might.
to come up with the rules, but you won't be calling this Boaty McBoatface or something stupid like that other poll that happened on the BBC website. So this stand will be 150 seats. We
100
are
games
going
in Georgian,
for
maybe
polished concrete
Georgian
finish
stand.
underneath this dirt, so it's a nice polished finished. We're going for quite nice seats as well. The seats are,
Sorry, I just realised.
again, slightly
100
better.
games.
Slightly better than the old seats a bit more durable, perhaps a bit sturdier for the more rotund fan. So yeah, 150 seats in it.
The old seats were just at the bar over there, weren't they?
The old seats have gone. We donated the old seats to Aldermaston, so our old seats are over now over at Aldermaston, and I think there's one.
We had a chat. We had a chat with Aldermaston a couple of days ago. They're installing them at the moment. So
Okay,
when
superb.
they're in, we'll head over and have a look.
Have you put the lights on in there? You plug all the lights in. Okay, so on here we're going to have a cantilevered roof. So the timeline for this, by the time the first game's here, this will all be concrete. The seats won't be going in until early next year. We've got our ground grading in March, so that phase of work will happen early next year. We'll continue to focus on the buildings, and then the seats will go in. We will probably have some temporary seating on here and a temporary cover, because we have to have that for our the Hellenic League stipulate we must have covered seated areas. So we'll have something temporary here for the first game. So let's go in this way.
Just going to pop inside, look around inside. This is the
New
old.
roof. Complete new roof.
Oh blimey! No leaks.
No leaks.
Nothing.
There's the bar, the bottom bar.
Also now known as the nightclub. If you come in here during the week, it is like a nightclub with the workers, with house music. So they actually only started boarding this yesterday. So that's what they achieved in a day. Next week this will be plastered. We're going for, there will be flush strip spotlights in the ceiling. That's been done by Mega Electrical, Adam Hopkins. Well, all of this building work here has been done by Mega Electrical and Adam Hopkins. It's been done all of the labour is being provided at cost price. So we are only paying, if a labourer earns X pounds per day, that's what we're paying. So he's kindly offered to do that, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do these to the spec that we are going to do them. So this will be the Matchday Bar. Now, the windows have gone. There's some rule somewhere that says you cannot drink, I think it's leagues above, you cannot drink a pint of beer and watch a game of football. So hence why this bar is now windowless. That is a league guide or a ground grading requirement. It's not that we wanted it to be a dark box, but it has to be a dark box. The bar will be where it was. The new edition. So you'll have some bifold doors over there out onto the pitch. Fire exit.
It's the bar.
As you can see, the old fire exit's gone, boarded up. New fire exit coming up.
I'll look inside there. Might get a little bit dark.
Okay, so that used to be the old entrance. That's now going to be the men's toilet.
It's all got a bit dark.
Through here. The old cellar is now the new electrical cupboard. And how much safer does that new electrical cupboard look, Duds?
Yeah, it's not plugged in, so.
Well, it's going to be a far safer electrical cupboard. Now, can you put that light in there for me? It's on, okay. So, Tom, if you want to bring that camera around. This is the old entrance into the cellar. This will be the boiler room. Boiler's going in on Monday. That is the ladies' toilet that always was.
Just see if we can get a bit of light, everybody.
Can you just bring that big light in here a minute, Callum, just from that?
Just in the change, in the
The
first
home.
team change room, in the home team change room. It's the old showers. Anybody that's been in here. Obviously not finished yet.
Okay, just bring it, point it in that direction. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we've increased the size of the home change room. We will have 20 cubicles in here. That used to be the old cellar. So we've removed that wall and we've pushed on in, built the floor up. So this will be the home room, 20 seats around there. 4 showers are going in there. 2 weeks' time, we've got a lot of labour focusing. All the kind of the beautification of this will happen next week. So by this time next week, showers will be in, that will be tiled. This will be plastered. This room will start to resemble a changing room. It will come together. It's surprisingly how quickly. I think a few people that have visited this ground have been surprised how quickly things just go from building to a finish. So yeah, that's the. Hoping that question, can you just bring the light around the light down? This is going to be Guffer's new beauty salon for players. So that's where he will massage mainly Joe Grant. Mainly Joe Grant, because Guffer doesn't have an awful lot of time for any other player, because Joe is the player that requires the most beautification before a game. So that's where that will happen, in there. Ref room 1. This is our female changing area. Can you just bring the light up, Cal? Oh, the mobile light. The lighting expert. Come on, just shine it in there. So we'll have a female changing area. So we're spending X amount of £1,000 for the one time a year that we get the female linesman. Again, ground grading. So we're having to invest a hell of a lot of money for that one game that we have a female official turn up. So yeah, that's where.
So is there like two separate areas? Where
yes, we have to have two separate areas. So yeah, we're spending a good £7,000 for that one time a year. Great guidelines by the FA. It's fantastic. Money well spent. Ref room 1, 2. This used to be, at time gone by, the old T-bar. That was a serving hatch there, serving hatch here. It then became the kit wash room and storage room. It's now going to be the ref room. And then I'm going to just spin that into the...
Just in the away changing room there.
I think we're just going to give this a sweep out and leave it pretty much like that. No, the away changing room. This will be cold. Cold. No, we're not like that at Bracknell Town. We want to give them a nice. We're giving them a great service to come and play on. This will be a nice, clean, good spec changing area. It'll all be plastered, nice lighting, good showers, toilet, septic drain.
Will you still be able to hear the other team's team talk through the walls? That was always the thing.
We have we've studied both sides, so this will be insulated on both sides, so you will no longer be able to hear the team talks from. Yeah, you won't be able to hear the team talks. The tactical, that for whatever reason, we haven't quite fathomed why that was ever cut into that wall.
It was for the shower pipe, so that when you clean the showers, you could put it through from this side to that side.
But
there was a hole to like the centre of the earth as well.
Yes, that's been filled in. New drains have been cut in.
Lovely.
Me and Lee think you'll probably still hear Nevitt though, even with the.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
Will it be warm showers in the ref's room? I've just been asked.
Warm showers in the ref room. That depends on performance.
And it's performance dependent. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question, Robert.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tony, no comment.
And in fairness, that's standard at all grounds.
Yeah, I think we're just mostly cold. Yeah.
No cover. It's live streaming. Player tunnel will be here. We will walk around and go and look at the player tunnel from the other side.
Just going to head back outside. It's the worst episode of Most Haunted ever. Bye, Roger. So just quickly walking through. This is what was the bottom bar. It's going to be the main Matchday Bar. The pool table. I wondered where that had gone. So we're just back outside. a few more people
let's
join
go
us.
this way, guys.
We'll take another little walk up. Anybody who's just joined, here's outside. We've got the really new main stand just here, and then the pitch. We've got what will be the Jack Quinton Memorial end, and then following at the bottom end will be the Bradley end. So we'll just take a walk up. Here he fell over. Take a walk up the pitch. It's looking absolutely tremendous.
Okay, so slightly wider tunnel.
Let's get back up, looking at the tunnel.
Okay, so slightly wider tunnel than before. This will all be gated. So again, league rules stipulate that you can't have spectators passing through. So this area will be gated. In the back there will be our laundry room, going out onto a hard standing area here.
Just in the players' tunnel.
So we've got planning permission. This area here in the middle will be a building. Again, that will be early next year. This will be a building here, linking in. The door will come out there, another door passing through there. There will be bifold doors in the front of this
T-bar,
section.
ballroom wear.
What would that room be used for?
That's going to be a training area, gym, for the school, so the academy.
Okay. So gym and school facilities in here,
And also players.
and players' facilities as well.
This area here
The main
is going to
bar.
be the educational academy. We are forming a partnership with Wellington College. It'll be announced at the AGM on Monday, the details of that. But fundamentally, we will be educating 16 to 18-year-olds here on site Monday to Friday. They'll be doing a BTEC in coaching. We will be producing coaches that will ultimately go out and teach PE within schools within the borough. We will also be having in that academy players, future players for the football club. So yeah, that's the aim, and we'll talk more about that at the AGM on Monday night. So let's.
Just heading back up to where we started.
Everyone's going now. Yeah, come on. I'm not going to choose
Finally, in terms of the phases of work, we will finish in this car park area the early part of next year. So kind of we want to have the whole site done by March next year. So that'll be the very last thing to be done, will be this car park. We're going to have a new fence running right down the middle. If you go on the planning portal, on Bracknell Forest Borough Council's planning portal, and you put Largest Lane into the search, you will see with how we're going to deal with the entrance to the ground. The turnstiles will now be down at the foot of the car park. But the buy boxes are going. We're ending our partnership with Buy Box to gain more parking spaces, and also with the change in use on this site, having engineers coming in vans and children is probably not the best and safest environment. So we're at the end of this year, the buy boxes will go, and we will continue. We will fundamentally have a car park, more spaces. So
Anybody got any questions? Serious
any
questions?
more questions?
Any serious questions?
What's the Joe
Lots
questions?
of conversations about your beard
But it's good beard.
and how you look a little bit like Santa.
Santa.
Yeah,
Flito from
A
Popeye.
thinner version of Santa, or
I'm not sure that's the gist. no.
okay.
So let's.
Is
move
that
on.
coming from players?
In a way, yeah.
Mix.
So,
Who's
mate,
leading that?
Steve Morga?
Don't know him.
No.
Tiny. Big fella.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. The new seats are being made for fans of that stature. That stature. Yes.
Scott Williams as well.
Oh, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but Scott's just been banned from the ground.
Sorry, Scott.
Yes.
I think the other question there was George Short said, is any part of the ground going to be named after him? I suspect possibly his
The
ankle.
toilets.
The toilets.
The toilets have been named after him.
George Short Gents urinal.
Yeah, the George Short's urinal. Yeah.
The court short.
Yeah, the court short. That's it. Yeah, the court short. That's it. Yeah.
There you go, George.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the physio room, because he spent with that ankle of his. That could be a good shout. But I think Joey Grant will fight him for that beauty room. For the naming on that, yeah. So
I don't think there's any more questions. I think that's it.
So do the kids start training here then when this is all done?
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Then we don't have to go EP and Ranelagh and all these other places.
That largely depends on. So on a Thursday evening, all of the youth teams will train here.
Yeah.
The junior club have it on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to move a lot of their teams here, but some teams
Yeah.
have other clubs that
And
they're part
obviously
of.
if there's matches on.
No. Wednesdays and Thursdays are for training.
Oh, okay. And then
The
other
only
nights
night
there's
for matches is Tuesdays
Oh, okay, good.
and Saturdays.
On Mondays and Fridays to rent out then?
Yes, so we got six-side league and Chelsea Football Club. So Chelsea have it on a Monday from 5 until 7, and then Soccer Sixes have it from 7 until 10 on a Monday. They also have it on a Sunday evening for their football league. Fridays, we are looking at the possibility of having a more of a vets league at the site. Saturday mornings it will be for youth football matches. The juniors will move over to Ranelagh. Saturday afternoons is game day. Sunday mornings is youth team football. Sunday afternoons is ladies. Sunday evenings is for hire. Allied game night's Tuesday. So Allied will play on a Tuesday depending
Opposite
on
sync to
opposite
the-
sync.
to the
So
first
our
team.
so our fixture secretary will communicate with the various different
Okay.
secretaries.
So what about the under 21 team as well? Or they only play weekends,
They
don't
only
they?
play weekends, Saturday
Yes.
afternoon. So
Answer
again,
my own question.
they will play their games here, and they'll sync around the first team. First team takes priority with any fixture set up. So yeah.
How long are them services guaranteed for then if you've got
Sunday
stuff
morning
going?
is youth football.
Penny.
Between 5 and 15 years.
East
It's a lot
Berks.
of use, isn't it?
Was-
It's gonna be used.
Sorry.
Sunday mornings is Surrey Youth League.
Surrey
So
Youth
Surrey Youth teams will play on a Sunday morning. We will play our small-sided games here across the pitch. The only football that won't be played on this pitch is our 9v9s. They will stay over at Ranelagh. It's just that they take up a 9v9. You can't really
Do anything else
It's
around
big,
there.
is it?
you can't have anything around it. So we'll have all of our under 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11 up to 10s, 11s and 12s will stay over at Ranelagh. Then we'll pick it up and the 11s will come back over as well.
Great. Thanks very much.
Superb.
Just going to take this back out to the
No
pitch
worries.
and just have a quick look.
Okay.
And cheers. So we'll just go back over to the pitch, just have a quick recap for everybody that's joined. So just at the end here we've got what will be the boardroom, boardroom container for the officials, anything like that. This will be an area for them to kind of watch the game from. And then we've got the pitch across. This end will be the Jack Quinton Memorial end, which as we understand it will be to do with remembering any people who have done things over the years for the club that have sadly passed away. They'll be remembered in this area. Then we've got the rest of the pitch. We've got the current office for the club over there on the far side, that white building just below the Mount Pleasant building. The goals can be stored in that area as well, particularly when it's cut down for training and five-a-side. Across the pitch, you've got the far side where the dugouts will be. The far end of the ground where the houses will be built that's going to pay for all of this will also be known as the Bradley end, and the Bradley family, as most of you know, were instrumental in building the majority of these buildings that are on site at the moment. And then on the left hand side there's going to be an area just where the yellow digger is. If you can see it, there will be a area for people to either stand or be involved in activities. It's going to be covered as well, temporary cover at the moment, and then something a bit more permanent. It'll also be future-proofed for the future. But obviously it'll be future-proof for the future, that's what the word means, but it will be a place where an extra stand could be built if needed. On the left you've got what will be the Matchday Bar and a stand which will have a cantilever over it. Just to the left of where that white wall is, where the stand is being built, is the players' tunnel, and then we've got an educational area where the old main bar was. So that's it. Unless there's any further questions today, that's our view, and it's just be for me to say thanks to everybody for watching, and thanks to this lad just here for moving the light around inside. Thanks very much. Great, thanks everybody. Bye.